From Upper Michigan Source, this is your Sports on Demand for Wednesday, May 8th. I'm Mike Ludlum. High school tennis probably won't see any highlights on Thursday, so happy to get to the match on Wednesday afternoon between Negaunee and Marquette. We'll start at first singles, and that's Marquette's Alec Olivier serving to Negaunee's Chaz Kumpula. Now, the trick with playing against Olivier is to keep the ground strokes deep because, that's a short ball, bang and bang, end of point. And Mr. Olivier was on a roll. A couple points later, Kumpula is able to follow the strategy by keeping the ground strokes at least to the service line or farther. And eventually, this forehand turns to be pretty good, and that's able to get him the point. However, Olivier still played up to his usual standards and won 6-love, 6-1. We're at first doubles. That's Jackson Sager right there, Andrew Lindbergh right here for Negaunee against Trevor Lewis and Connor Johnson, and Marquette won this match 6-2, Negaunee won this match 6-2, 6-3. Negaunee won the team score 7-1, and Escanaba also defeated Munising yesterday 7-1. It was a busy spring meeting for the Michigan High School Athletic Association's Executive Council. A number of changes, some taking place next season, some in 2020. First, in basketball, each of the top two teams, or each team that has the best record in girls' districts and boys' districts, will be seeded. Very simply, they'll be on opposite ends of the bracket, and that begins this season. A lot of coaches I have heard are in favor of this, so they're going to be happy. Turning to football, after this season, so in 2020, no more guarantees of 6 wins and you're in the playoffs. There is going to be a formula established, kind of like the old system in terms of strength of schedule. In fact, if that system would have been employed last season, Kingsford would have made the playoffs with a record of 4-5. Now, a maximum of 215 students will be the number for 8-player football playoff teams, just to keep that number in mind. Elsewhere, they will have video reviews for the football finals. Limited, but it's a start. That's this year, along with more limited contact during the preseason and season. Preseason, you can have 6 hours a week of contact, but boy, only during the regular season, just 30 minutes. So learn to tackle during the preseason. And don't forget that new transfer rule, that begins this fall. And in golf, there will be several situations where players can use their cell phones to determine a few things and help in case of an emergency, and 12 strokes maximum for each hole. To hockey, where the WCHA schedules were announced on Wednesday. For NMU, the Wildcats begin at home October 11th and 12th against Michigan State. This will be the first matchup in Marquette between those two since 2011. The following weekend, the Wildcats visit Boston University. That's the team NMU defeated to win the 1991 National Championship. In fact, this will be the first 2-game series with the Terriers since 1985. NMU in November goes together very well. The Wildcats have 3 straight home series, starting with Alabama Huntsville on the 1st and 2nd. Then after that, it's the home-and-home series with Michigan Tech on the 22nd and 23rd. Just one series in December, and that will be at home against WCHA champion Minnesota State. NMU starts January 10th and 11th with Alaska Anchorage. Then they travel to Cornell. That return trip they have to make to Cornell the following weekend. Ferris State comes to the Barry Event Center at the end of January and the beginning of February. Wildcats travel to Lake Superior State February 21st and 22nd, and the regular season concludes at the end of the month, hosting and then visiting Michigan Tech. Now, here's the big note, though, in scheduling. Except for that Michigan Tech game on November 23rd, all NMU Saturday home hockey games will start at 6 o'clock. Some people not happy. The media, I think, will be happy. Just a guess. Meanwhile, for Michigan Tech, the Huskies start the season on the road October 5th and 6th at the Colonials of Robert Morris near Pittsburgh. The Huskies' home schedule begins October 11th and 12th with Alaska. Minnesota State invades the McGinnis Student Ice Arena November 8th and 9th. Again, the home-and-home series with NMU is the 22nd and 23rd. The Golden Knights of Clarkson visit Michigan Tech on the 13th and 14th. Now, the dates for the Great Lakes Invitational have not been announced, but Tech will meet Michigan State in the first game and either Ferris State or Michigan the following night. Tech has an early start in January compared to most seasons, traveling to Arizona State on the 3rd and 4th. The Huskies host Ferris State on January 24th and 25th. And for the second time in Winter Carnival history, Lake Superior State is the opponent on February 7th and 8th. And the season concludes with the home-and-home series again with Northern Michigan University.